Hello and welcome to this special double-header edition of Park Life as City welcome Newport County to the park this Saturday before the women's team take on Plymouth Argyle in the Devon derby on Sunday. Coming up on today's show, which is dedicated to our Her Game 2 weekend, we hear all about the campaign from one of the founders, Lucy Ford. Pierce Sweeney and Matt Taylor are of course on interview duty, and Jed Penberthy is also here to give us a little bit about the opposition. But first, let's start with a look back at last weekend's 2-2 draw at Stevenage.
To start the day in the playoff places, and season in, season out, consistently performing the top reaches of the League 2 table. Just being the slightly brighter of the two sides. And that's George Ray's ball over the top of the Stevenage defence. This is Sam Nombe, onto his right foot, into the bottom corner. 1-0 to the visitors. And it's a really good goal. It's a goal all of Nombe's making. Shrugging off the Stevenage advances and then firing home into the bottom corner. Taylor into Andrade, and here is a great chance, and it's a very, very good equaliser. Brown gets it again towards the back post, and somehow Joseph Anang. Exeter certainly enjoy playing against Stevenage, and they're looking to get back into the league. Good cross to the back post, and it's a header from captain Matt J at the back post. From Josh Key's cross, no denying the cross though, from Key, right-footed to Captain J. Stevenage trying to keep possession, but they're going to get caught in possession. Onto his left foot, off the post. Stevenage coming forward, and here's another opportunity, and it's a great strike. And it's Elliott List again. Find something late on and go into the lead for the first time. Good save. Cameron Dawson down to his left-hand side. Something up. They led 1-0. They led 2-1. Can they lead 3-2? Another chance. And it's List again who's there. Just from 7 yards. It's right-footed with a free kick. Oh, it's a really strong delivery, and somehow it stays out. And that's the final action of the game.
City are unbeaten in the last 9, but are hoping to turn some of those draws into wins. Here's what Matt Taylor had to say about Saturday's fixture.
But they've got no manager at the moment. Do you think that might have any impact on how the game might turn out?
I don't expect so, Craig. Wayne's been there a long period of time and alongside the previous manager as well. So I don't think their principles, their habits will change too much. And you can probably see that by their recent run of form and their recent games since the manager left. So I don't expect too much change going into this weekend unless they appointed someone at the last minute. And that seems less and less likely going into the weekend. But first and foremost, what a good job he's done in the meantime. But that's what Newport will bring. As always, our focus is on ourselves. We've got half an eye on what to expect. But it's always a closely contested fixture. As close to a local game as we can possibly get. So hopefully there's a strong contingent of away fans coming down and in full voice. Our fans will be the same.
City and Newport are no strangers to each other, having faced each other plenty of times in the Football League. With that and everything else you need to know about Newport County, Dumar Uithblaid with Jed. Welsh speakers, I can only apologise. This is the opposition.
This week, Exeter City are playing host to Newport County here at the park. Newport County were formed in 1912 after a meeting at the Tredegar Arms Hotel to replace the recently defunct Newport FC. The Welsh city lies just off the Severn estuary and was founded after the Norman invasion in 1066. In 1963, obviously a local rugby side, Newport RFC actually beat the New Zealand All Blacks at Rodney Parade. And in 2002, Newport was granted city status by the Queen, celebrating her Jubilee. In 1939, the Exiles won their first and only Football League honour, winning the Division 3 title. Nearly 40 years later, they won the Welsh Cup, beating Shrewsbury 5-1 in the final. That qualified them for the European Cup Winners' Cup, where they were knocked out in the quarter-final against Karl Zeiss Jena, a team from Germany. Just 7 years after their European tour, Newport were relegated from the Football League altogether. In 1989, the club actually went out of business, and from the ashes rose the Newport County AFC that we see today. In 2013, they regained Football League status, beating Wrexham 2-1 in an all-Welsh tie at Wembley. Now, Newport are currently without a first-team manager after Michael Flynn left last week, so in this dugout next to me will be Wayne Hatswell. In Hatswell's first game in charge of the Exiles, he managed to secure a 0-0 draw with Bradford City. Here are a couple of key moments from that game. This week's one to watch is a familiar face around here at Exeter City. It is Alex Fisher, who left the Grecians in the summer. He signed for Newport and he's already notched already this season with a goal against Tranmere. Alex played 38 times in red and white and only scored 3 goals whilst he was here, including last year's dramatic late equaliser against Southend United, which earned him the coveted Goal of the Season award. And the 31-year-old journeyman has played across Europe in his career, playing in Spain, Italy, Belgium, Scotland, now Wales, as he embarks on another journey with Newport County. It's even readings when it comes to the head-to-head here between Exeter City and Newport County. This will be the 128th meeting between the sides, and almost 350 goals have been scored in that time. But altogether it reads as Exeter City with 44 wins. There's been 38 draws, and Newport County have just been on top by 45 occasions. And finally today, although most clubs chose to have 3 o'clock kickoffs during the mid-70s, when floodlights were added to Somerton Park, Newport moved their kickoff times to about 3:15 to allow steel workers to attend their games. It wasn't until relegation in the mid-80s out of the Football League where they switched back to a 3 p.m. kickoff. And this weekend is 3 p.m. as well.
On press duty this week was defender Pierce Sweeney. Here's what he had to say as City look to extend that unbeaten run.
Like us, Newport are kind of perennial challengers for the promotion. What have you made of them this season?
I'm not quite sure, actually, to be honest with you. They're one of them sides where over the recent years they've been strong. They've been started off really well. They've had a core of the team that that's going to play. They've lost a couple of players. I know Podge is with us and Labadie has left and a few others have left. So they've kind of lost the core group there. And their team spirit would have been really, really high. I think they've kind of had a slow start. I know they've lost their manager and they haven't appointed a manager yet, I don't think. So, if I'm being honest with you, I'm not sure what to expect. I know they've kind of changed their style. They're making a couple of passes at the back, and they'll still be competitive. They'll still have the same basics, the same structure as they have done previously. They'll compete. They'll run. They'll be good at set pieces. They'll put the ball in the box. So, what I'm expecting is a typical League Two game where we've got to compete first and then let our game shine through, and hopefully it's a good day at the park for us.
Now then, we take a look back at 2015 when goals from Ryan Harley and David Wheeler earned Exeter City a 2-0 win over Newport County.
City's under-23s were also in action in midweek. They made the long trip to East London to take on West Ham in the under-23s Premier League Cup, their third group stage match. Here is how Dan Green's boys got on.
Well, if Carlsberg did right backs, we've certainly got one in Jacob Priest. Here's what he had to say about his life in football, which you can catch as a featured interview in this week's programme.
First memory of football is obviously like the boys around where I used to live. Growing up, used to play. My dad wasn't really a big football fan, so there wasn't really football playing in a house like that. So just seeing them play, so obviously used to just go out on the estate and play with them.
So, what was it like playing on the estate back in the young days?
Yeah, like just obviously just playing to enjoy. Obviously, so you use 2 jumpers for a goalpost, and then World Cup, all them kind of games, winner stays on, and all the rest of it. You literally just playing football to enjoy.
Football is, of course, a game for all, and the Her Game 2 movement, which started in the summer, has now gained global acclaim. Exeter City are now proud to dedicate a whole weekend of football to the movement, and as a result, Craig spoke to one of the founders, Lucy Ford, about the campaign itself.
Her Game 2 was kind of started as a result of something that happened this year to one of my friends. She got a lot of abuse on social media just for kind of laughing at a scoreline, like any of us would do. I think it was kind of a crazy result. And then we kind of came together, and Kaz, who's the main founder, a fellow Bristol Rovers fan, kind of came to me and spoke to me and said, is there really a campaign out there for sexism in football? And I was like, well, I can't remember seeing one. Obviously, we see one about racism and homophobia, which is also equally as important, but we haven't had one about sexism. And we'd both experienced it ourselves on social media. I'd had it from being young at school, people saying comments to me like, oh, why do you go to football? Or you shouldn't go to football because you're a girl, even though it's something I love to do. And then, from there, she kind of said, oh, I've got an idea that perhaps we do a video and highlighting like the sexist abuse we've received. And I just love the idea straight away. I could just visualize just seeing us holding up the like comments on card, which is kind of what we did. And then she kind of spoke to 10 other girls from across the country, supported different teams, Newport, Bristol City, Leeds, Rotherham, and they all kind of completely agree with the idea of the campaign and had all experienced sexist abuse, whether it was online or in person. And that is literally where Her Game 2 came from on Saturday, the 15th of May. I think that's the date, FA Cup Day this year. And yeah, from there, I think my life has kind of changed dramatically.
Obviously, we can't go into too much detail on here, but obviously we're going to make the study available that you guys did. There's some pretty horrible language in there, isn't there? And I think people don't perhaps realise that this happened at football.
Yeah, I mean, when we did the survey, we got a great response from female football fans. I think we got almost 400 responses, which in itself was, great data to have. But reading through some of the responses, I mean, I think all of us girls felt really, really upset just reading it. And I think I only got through about 2 pages, and I genuinely had to just stop because some of the stories were absolutely horrendous. And I just thought if that was me in that position, I just wouldn't even want to go back to football. I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't feel safe. I wouldn't feel uncomfortable. And that's really kind of the whole reason behind this campaign. We want these young girls out there who love football, whether it's football, like playing or watching, and they should be able to feel safe and comfortable doing that. And they shouldn't have to worry that someone's going to come up to them and say that they shouldn't because they're female.
This week, David Gribble caught up with Exeter City Women's captain Manfi Sharp and forward Mia Preston to hear their thoughts on the Devon derby this Sunday.
Yeah, I feel a lot more confident than previously. I think I had a bit of a blip. But yeah, I'm really excited to kind of see how the next few games go, especially playing and starting in the last 3 years.
You got a goal at Buckland as well, pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, it was definitely a big weight off my shoulders, I think, first start. It was really nice to get, yeah.
Monthly team's form has been really good the last few weeks, won the last 3 games. Do you feel confidence is high going into the Plymouth game?
Yeah, confidence is really high, team spirit's there. We just all seem really close as a unit at the minute. Obviously, there's been a nice rotation in squads at the minute, so everybody's getting minutes and goals like they deserve. And it's been good, we're confident.
Defensively as well, a couple of clean sheets in the last 3 games as well.
Yeah.
Pleased with that.
Yeah, really good. I think we've got to start taking a little bit more pride in our clean sheets and defensive duties. It's all well and good scoring one end, but we've got to keep the goals out as well.
Here with more content ahead of Sunday's Devon derby, David Gribble also caught up with the Nee family, who are massive supporters of Exeter City Women, about how much they're looking forward to seeing the side take to the park.
I think mainly down to obviously media taking quite a lot of interest in football generally, and obviously coming to a lot of the Exeter City men's games. But it's just that empowerment of being, a female and seeing female players. I think the Women's World Cup was a big thing in our house. That kind of, it really set it off to begin with. And little did we know that our Exeter City Women's were just around the corner from us because we live in Cullompton. So it, just made sense for her to kind of go down there, see what it's all about, and just get that empowerment for her really to see it's an equal opportunity game.
Girls, can you tell me who is your favourite player? No pressure. Oh, straight in, Manfi, no messing. Who's your favourite player? Mia. Well, what a coincidence. They're both sat right behind you. And girls, we've got Plymouth Argyle coming up at the weekend. What do you think the score's going to be? We're going to win? Definitely going to win. Excellent. Scores? Do you reckon? 2-1. Yeah, like take that. Take 2-1. What do you reckon the score's going to be? 10-5.
10-3.
10-3.
Yeah, 10-3
excellent.
to Exeter.
Manfi, you've let 3 in.
Yeah.
We've got to take more pride in those clean sheets, but there you go. Hopefully Mia will score some goals for you as well.
That's all we've got time for on Park Life this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, it's a double header at the park this weekend. Saturday, the men take on Newport, and on Sunday, the women take on Argyle in that Devon derby here at the park. For Saturday's game, if you can't join us, make sure you're listening on iFollow with an audio pass, or if you're lucky enough to be overseas at the moment, you can watch that with a match pass as well for just £10. We'll of course have coverage of both games on our social media channels, the men's channel on the Saturday, the women's social media channel on the Sunday, and of course pick up a match programme in both games and make sure you join us. Remember, it's her game too. Come on, City!